Hey, I've got another just thing that I had been thinking about it for like a long time, but I never really like kind of discussed this. So, whenever it comes to gaming on older consoles such as like Nintendo and Game Boy and Sega and all that stuff, there's a lot of like really good games out there that are really expensive online. And a lot of the times, whenever I see something that's like a game that's really, really expensive, like even more expensive than whenever it was released, turns out it's not a rare game at all. Like, it's quite common, but a lot of people, when they have that certain game, they think they're sitting on gold, when really they're not. So that's where emulation comes into play. People would be like, well, why would I spend this much money on a game when I'll just emulate it? And there are people that are made out of money, and they will buy whatever game that they please for whatever price that is listed. I mean, if it's like, I don't know, like Super Mario Land, not really, but if let's just say like Super Mario Land was like a pretty expensive game, let's say like $80. There will be a listing for like maybe like $2,000 for one that looks awful, like in awful condition, and people will buy it. There is somebody out there that will buy it no matter what. So that's whenever I'm like, alright, well then I'm just gonna emulate it. I hate that I have to emulate it to enjoy it, but how else am I going to play the game without emulating if I don't want to pay that much money for a cartridge or game? So then another form of playing it physically without emulating is buying a bootleg version. So let's say, excuse me. Let's say I want to play Pokemon Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance. If I want to pay for an official copy of Pokemon Red, I'd have to spend a pretty penny for it. And I'd have to make sure that it's not a bootleg. If I'm paying this much money, I might as well have it be authentic. So they will run you a lot of money, which a lot of Pokemon games are really expensive. I guess I just don't know how rare they are, because they do sell for a lot of money. And I've got two Pokemon games two Pokemon games that might sell for a good bit of money, but I'm not going to, because we got them for free, and it's something that I want to enjoy. I don't want to just have it and then just turn around and sell it like a lot of like resellers and scalpers. That's also another thing that ruined the market, is scalpers. And a lot of the times, or not a lot of times, but a few times, I have seen it being combated, and scalpers getting a taste of their own money or medicine. I don't know why I said money. I guess money, whatever. But like the PS5 situation. Whenever the PS5 came out, a horrible release. It's not Sony's fault, because COVID happened and everybody wanted to buy everything, and then people wanted to resell them, and the scalpers, and they were buying all this like Raspberry Pi. You couldn't get a Raspberry Pi for how cheap it used to be, and heck, I think you still can't get them for cheap. Yeah, like the PS5 situation, a lot of people that did not play PS5 or did not game at all, they still bought them because they were going to resell them and sell them for a lot more money, like triple, quadruple the price. And so a lot of people, they were doing that, and people were realizing, hey, I don't want to pay that much money for a PS5. So they were sitting there collecting dust, like those PS5s were collecting dust. These scalpers are sitting there with empty pockets or empty wallets, because they done spent all their money on PS5s hoping to resell them for a lot more money. And so then, not only did people not buy them, which, I mean, I'm not gonna say everybody didn't buy them. A lot of people did buy the resellers' consoles. But Sony was like, hey, we found a way to sell them again without having to do like limited quantity. And so I gotta do something in my mailbox. And so the resellers had to lower the prices to just how it is standard, like the standard price of a PS5. I don't remember how much it was, and plus I even got mine for a really good deal with a free game, so that was it's pretty nice. Which I'm home, but I will put this car in park and I will sit here and talk. So yeah, so that was a way that resellers got a taste of their own medicine. And they left with probably about the same or less money, depending on how they bought them. Maybe they bought them from another reseller, and hoping to sell it for even more than that. So that was that made me very, very happy. That made me very happy. But going back to games that I don't want to buy for so much ridiculous amount of money because people think they have gold. There's bootleg copies of video games. So what I hope that happens, what I want to happen, which I know probably won't happen. I'd like to see a lot of people start buying reproduction cartridges, and then there's gonna be people that are saying like, oh, reproduction cartridges are awful, they're not pure, it's not real. It's like, it's just a game. If you're wanting to collect them, or if you're wanting to buy them just to play the game, but you want to play it physically, by all means, go ahead. I don't care. I'm sure there's thousands of other people that don't care. The only people that do care, that are like the purists of like, oh, if it's not the real thing, then you're not allowed to play it. Those are the neckbeards on Reddit that tell you not to do that. So don't listen to them. If you want to buy the game and it's a bootleg, but you just want to play the game, go ahead, do it. I have one to my knowledge. I haven't checked every single game that I have, but one to my knowledge that I purposely bought was a reproduction. And this is whenever I first got my Nintendo 64, and I didn't have a game for it for the longest time. I just had the console, but I wanted to play a game so bad on it, and that was Paper Mario. And I don't know how much Paper Mario goes for. I think it goes for a lot, but then again, I don't know. And I don't know how many copies of Paper Mario are out there, because it was towards the end of the life of the N64, and that was like their last big stand for the Nintendo 64. I can't talk. Was Paper Mario, and I didn't want to pay a lot of money, so I just like bought a reproduction cartridge, and I played it, and I had a lot of fun. But of course, I would like to have the authentic copy of games. And going back to what I was saying about, I hope people buy more reproduction cartridges, because if people were to do that, if people were to be like, you know what, I don't want to spend a lot of money on this game, a lot more than what it needs to be, even if it's not a rare game. I'd like people to buy the reproductions, and then people on eBay especially. Holy cow, eBay is bad. Facebook is starting to get up there too, if not it already is. But a lot of eBay sellers will be like, hey, people aren't buying our stuff because it's so expensive, because now they're buying these cheap reproductions, and so what we'll have to do is just lower our prices. And then there's gonna be people that are gonna be really stubborn. They won't even drop a penny for their game. Which, I mean, that is sad. So yeah, that's what I would like to see happen, is the reproductions get bought more, and then people will start saying, oh, we need to lower our prices. Now, there are people that say, oh, reproduction cartridges will damage your system or destroy something. Like, reproductions are awful. They'll destroy everything. Those are also the same neckbeards on Reddit that just be like, oh, it's not pure, and reproductions are gonna, kill your family, and all this stuff. I don't know. And of course, I don't have anything against Reddit. I mean, I think that there are people on... Okay, there's a difference between people on Reddit and Redditors, just like how I think there's a difference between band kids and kids in the band. I'm not going to further disclose on that because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But there's a difference between people on Reddit and Redditors. I do go on Reddit quite a bit whenever I have a question about anything, really. I mean, you could find the why are we put on the earth, like what is the big plan, and I'm sure there's somebody that's like, well, I have the sixth sense, I can see 4D. But yeah, those are the Redditors that are like, don't buy reproductions because they'll destroy. There's not really, from the research that I've done, there's not been a console destroyed. Maybe it was like a coincidence that somebody bought a reproduction cartridge, put it in, and their system just, for some reason, just didn't work anymore. Maybe there was a coincidence. Maybe there was just something that was purposely done, like a USB stick that had like a virus on there that'll destroy your computer. Maybe it was something that somebody has done to that cartridge, and then just destroy the system. So maybe that's the reason why people say that. Or, maybe it is like people who just like think, like Redditors that are like, you need to be pure. If not, like, you can't even emulate games. I wouldn't even go on my Nintendo Switch and play an emulated NES game, like, because I'm just that pure. But yeah, that's basically it. That's just something that I would like to see, is people buy more reproduction cartridges so that eBay sellers will lower their prices. Or maybe even better, eBay will just lower the prices.